Hey, what's going on, guys? I have a mindset video for you that is a huge part of the winning strategy that I've used in my life and helped me a lot, and I think I'd like to share that with you. And I call this no gray areas. So if you've worked with me, you understand that one of the things that we emphasize in our company is that when you do something, you either do it or you don't. And that's essentially what this whole concept of no gray areas is all about. It is this idea that when you make a decision, the decision means that you cut off all other possibilities. In fact, the word decide and the word incision, comes from the same root word, which is to cut. When you decide, you cut off all the possibilities of anything else being an option for you. So when I say no gray areas, what I mean is that when something is in front of you, you're either saying yes or no. Matter of fact, we always talk about speed equals sales, money loves speed. That's the one side of the coin. The other side of the coin is that poverty loves indecision. It doesn't love slowness because slowness comes from indecision. So the reason money loves speed is because in order to be fast, you have to be decisive. And the very essence of being decisiveness is to cut off all other possibilities, is to be black and white. So that's the first step number one of no gray areas, is that you must let go. And I get it, life has gray areas, but you shouldn't, if that makes sense. So, meaning when you execute, you should be thinking in yes and no terms, because you can't half commit and half execute. Because if you do that, you will almost guarantee yourself failure and you will lose to the more decisive team, the more decisive person. So that's step number one. You must decide either I'm doing it or I'm not doing it. And again, in practical terms, this is true. When you show up to work, you either execute or you don't. You either sell the job or you don't. You either make the numbers, you don't. You either take care of your team or you don't. You either show up or you don't. That's the reality of it. And by the way, wherever you see gray areas, you will see a lot of poverty and lack of performance. And by the way, this whole idea of standards is exactly what this is, right? When you say we're going to do this or not, that's also a no gray area thing. When you say this is our standard, anything under that is not good, that is also a decisive no gray area black and white situation. That's number one. Number two, once you decide, you must commit to the thing that you said you're going to do. So for example, if I give you a ticket and say I need you to sell this job, you say, yes, sir, I will sell this job. And you must commit to selling that job. And then you must confront whatever comes may. Meaning you don't just say, yes, I'm going to do it. And the moment you say that, the very next step is generally to confront whatever it is. And generally speaking, guys, and this is why it's a mindset thing, it's not fun. The first step is not fun. You may have to confront somebody in the team. You have to confront an upset customer. You may have to confront a car that you don't want to work on. But that is exactly what this is all about. It's not always sunshine and rainbows. Therefore, you must commit to the goal. You can't go wishy-washy. You can't be going black and white, because that's just as bad as staying in the gray area. So if you're going to go black, you got to stay on that black until you finish the task. So you must commit, you must confront. That's step number two. Step number three is more of the final bring this all together mindset. And this is off the script for me, I'll just say that. I don't believe that it is in my best interest to believe that chance is the reason why things go well and things don't go well. I don't believe it's in my best interest to believe that our stores get busy and they don't get unbusy, and they get busy because there's some gods of auto repair that bless us and then they don't bless us. Although I do believe in God, I do believe that there's blessings and grace that exist. However, I also believe in physics, I also believe in biology, and I believe in cause and effect. Meaning, there's two ways to run a business. You could do the slot machine on one side, or you could do the chess on the other side. These are two very different mindsets, and you must understand the difference between these two, and you must decide which one you want to go with so you don't end up in the middle gray area, which is what we don't want. A lot of people believe that business is a slot machine. A lot of owners believe that. A lot of people in the world that work for money, they believe the economy has a lot to do with their paycheck. It does have an impact, but it's not the main reason. There are people that believe that it gets busy and slow and it's not in our control. That's a slot machine mindset. You just go there, you pull the slot, and you're just hoping that you'll land on the right digits or whatever the heck is on that slot machine. You're playing craps, you're playing roulette, the thing spins, and you're just waiting to see if you'll win. A lot of people believe that wealth is created with luck only. And now, again, there might be something out there, but that isn't, in my experience, and many, many people I have followed and mentored me in their experience either. In fact, it's completely the opposite. It's not chance. You create chance through skill. You create luck through strategy, through execution. And that is the chess mindset, ladies and gentlemen. You must understand that when you are playing chess, and if you lose a game of chess, you cannot blame anybody except yourself, because it has nothing to do with your race, your religion, your age, where you were born, how hard your day was, how long your hair is, how good looking you are. No, all that matters is you made some bad moves and you got checkmate. That's why chess is the ultimate accountability, because if you play chess, it's all on you. There somewhere along the way you made a bad move, and that is why you couldn't recover and you lost. Now that is an extreme way of thinking. However, when you say it's all on me, you also say it is 100% in my power. Therefore, you empower yourself. When you take ultimate responsibility, you also give yourself ultimate authority. When you give yourself no responsibility, you also take away all authority, meaning you become a pawn or you become a king. You decide what you want to do, but I don't want you to be in the gray area. I need you to be either take ownership of everything that's happening or say I'm no control. And with all due respect, you should get out of the way of people who think they're in control, because they will run you over. And if you're on their team, you're doing them a great injustice, because you're not you're not going to try. You're not going to do the things, because why does it even matter? It's not in our control. The person who believes that it's in their control, that they're playing chess and it's their moves, their strategy and their skill and their execution that determines the level of success, that person is going to keep getting better, and that person will take ultimate ownership of the result and the process. If you have a bad day at work, understand that it was by design. If you have a bad week at work, you have to understand it was by design. If you have a bad year in life, you have to understand it was by design. You get to design it. And I fully understand there's bad things that happen to good people. You get cancer, it's not your fault, and then you die. I'm fully aware of that, but I just refuse to believe that I can't do anything about it. And I refuse to live in the area that I'm not responsible. And by the way, this is also religious, because by the way, for those of you that are like, Zane, God's in control, what are you saying? Well, let me just ask you this, as a believer, as I'd like to think I am. If God doesn't believe you're not in control, then why did he create heaven and hell? Something to think about. Then that wouldn't be fair, right? If ultimately you're going to be already decided where you're going to go, then what's the point of this? That's kind of messed up. No, because even God designed this whole game, if that's what you want to call it, to be able for you to decide which way you want to go. You want to go to hell or you want to go to heaven. That is 100% on you. Heaven and hell right here on earth. You want to create hell or you want to create heaven? That's a choice you must make. But please, for the love of God, get the hell out of the gray area. That's not going to do anything. Most people that are gray area don't even know, but they're creating hell, right? They're creating hell on earth, because if you're not taking ownership, you're actually worse than the guy who's a cynic. He knows he's a cynic. He's admitted he's a cynic. At least he's at peace with his cynicism. Man, I'm not in control and I don't care. Good for you, man. Enjoy your life. This guy here looks like this guy, but he's not, right? So I need you to get out of this. This is a bad area. You need to get here or here. And if you want to be here, have fun. Mazel tov, right? Have fun, enjoy yourself, but don't get in this guy's way. Play chess or play slots. You decide. I've already told you what I'm playing. I've already told you what our team's playing. And I've already told you what my mentors have played and the people I've watched that I admire have played. Take ultimate ownership. You'll have ultimate power. I hope this video helps, guys. Again, no gray areas, no nonsense. Don't blame the market, the weather, the economy, the politics. Don't blame any of that. Design your life, take ownership, get skill, get strategy, execute, and improve, and watch what happens. I hope this helps. See you guys next time.